Okay, we're here and I just got home, keys are down. I'm also kind of half dressed and I'm stress eating. Why am I stress eating? Why am I putting myself on a chair? Because I am rage baiting. I am here by myself, guys. Pat is away, so you're stuck with me and that's okay because we're going to discuss the Singapore Grand Prix, specifically 3 things whilst I rage eat my Oscar Piastri grilled burger. And if you're not from Australia, that's just a marketing chain, a food chain here in Australia. And he's done a collaboration with Grilled. It's a great burger. It's supposed to be healthy. And I guess it's okay for breakfast. No one's stopping me. I'm an adult. I'm here. And we're going to be discussing 3 things today. Now those 3 things, one of them, I need a timeout because I obviously went nuts on social media. If you follow us on TikTok or Instagram, and if you don't, you probably should, so like go do that whilst you're listening. I went a little bit cray-cray, but also TikTok was totally fueling that just for me because anytime I uploaded this photo to do a talk about this green screen of this photo, it would play a sound. And I was like, wait, why is that perfect for this scenario? So it just kept going. And I was like, well, I'm gonna keep going. And then I went to Pilates and I started thinking and I started getting angry and I started like writing on my phone an article whilst I'm doing Reformer, and pretty much the teacher was looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're here for class. I ended up leaving class to go write an article because I just had so much in me. And you can go check that on I can put up a link, but you know, it's not Paddock 43. We have a Paddock 43. Now, Pat is in Europe. She is currently, I think she's in Qatar right now, actually. I got no idea. I should probably check and find my friends. And the other things that we're going to talk about, so McLaren, obviously. Deep breaths. We're going to discuss, me with you in your ears, are going to discuss Alpine. God, sorry, Monday morning, and how Flavio is just completely dissing Jack Doohan. Does F1 have a thing against Australians at the moment? Like, what is with that? And the next thing that we're going to discuss also is Williams. And what the fuck happened with them this weekend? Now, a lot of people have sent submissions through for various things, so we will discuss that. And holy moly, if you're not watching this, I've just opened up my grilled Oscar Piastri burger. Shit, looks quite good. I'm just gonna show that on the camera. I just dropped chips everywhere, sorry, oops. I'm not even in my own home. Delish. I'm just gonna show on the camera what this actually looks like because this is supposed to be an orange and black burger for Oscar Piastri. Thoughts, feels, do we like the look of it? Sorry if you can't see this, but quickly, you know, girls gotta eat. It's a black bum for a black soul, which is McLaren. Okay, I should probably calm down. All right, let's get into the episode. Oh my God, it's so good. Is it okay to have grilled for breakfast? Asking for a friend. You know what, Oscar, if McLaren's not treating you right, at least Grilled is. Grilled will never let you down. This isn't sponsored by Grilled. This is very much on my own dollar and my black McLaren Oscar Piastri burger for, well, it's not McLaren, it's Oscar Piastri, for breakfast. All right, burger is done. That was delicious. Shout out to Grilled. This isn't sponsored by Grilled, but shout out to Grilled. That I hope every sale of that goes to Oscar because I will be getting that again. But we're gonna start with a literal fire. No, not the grilled type of fire that I've literally just been talking about. Wow, that sounded lame. That sounded like I was reading something. But no, we're going to be discussing Williams. Because honestly, their weekend in Singapore was straight out of a documentary, pretty much. And also, if you're watching this and wondering what's going on in the background, we are moving and we're kind of like nomads at the moment. So in practice, we obviously had Alex Albon's car catching fire. His rear brakes overheated and it was absolute chaos. We had like fire extinguishers everywhere, people running around. The commentary was like, what the hell is going on? Alex Albon's car is literally on fire. It was a obviously epic start to Singapore in free practice 1 and it kind of set the tone of what also ended up being a very boring weekend, but left us all very fucking fiery. And then to follow up Alex's car catching fire on the Friday, on the Saturday, he gets disqualified with Carlos Sainz. And if that was me, if I was them, I'd just like fake being sick and just fly home because like, honestly, bad omens. I mean, what was actually going to happen? They got disqualified for DRS issues and they really just accepted the penalty and just that was admitting to internal failure then. And it was like, okay, what the fuck was the point of that? And it was a real shame. So let's throw to what the people are saying. Now, this is Liv Tyler. She's got some points to make.
I think Williams could have had a really good points haul this weekend, especially after seeing their qualifying results, but before they got disqualified. They were starting at the back of the pack and were able to get 1 point. So if they were to start from P12 and P13 like they originally meant to, I definitely think they could have been maybe P7, P8 and had a great points haul for the team. I'm interested to know where you think they would have ended up if they did start P12, P13, and how careful teams need to be moving forward. They are obviously very strict on this. If a higher up team such as McLaren was to have this happen to them, they wouldn't have won the Constructors this weekend. So interested to know your thoughts on that.
Okay, great. I love this question. Liv, thank you so much for sending that through. I've actually had a lot of DMs about this one and where Williams would have fallen if that disqualification didn't happen. First of all, I do think that if the disqualification didn't happen and they didn't have such a shit show of a weekend, that they would have quietly got points. I think the Williams car and the team has been improving. We've been seeing that. And James Vowles is right. 2026 is going to be their year and I think they're going to be actual direct contenders. Before they got disqualified, their place in qualifying was decent. And especially because a track like Singapore really does support like stable ends of rear cars, which is an area that Williams have really improved in. The Alpines were nowhere, Haas was struggling, Yuki was not going to get in the points. There was a real opportunity for Williams to come up the ranks if they had started where they originally qualified. But I think you're right that if this had happened to the likes of like a McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, they probably would have been fully disqualified for the weekend, which is interesting, but I kind of like that they gave Williams the go here. It's just a reminder that every millimetre really, truly fucking counts in this F1 game. So yeah, absolute shame, absolute bamboozle and fire. I think Williams could have gone well, and it's to have that happen, I just feel like this team has so much bad luck all the time, and I cannot wait to see where they come next year. And it is funny because like 2-3 years ago, I was also backing Williams out. I was like, oh my God, you're a Williams fan? I am a Williams fan now. They have grown on me and I want to see them do well. Now, someone else I would like to see do well. Jack Doohan. Yeah, but he's not going to do well because Flavio, his manager, has essentially just ruled him out. It's kind of like at the moment, I'm just like rage baiting and feeling it that no one wants an Aussie on the grid or to do well. Okay? We have like, Oscar Piastri is probably one of the greatest sporting exports to come out of this country, like especially on that global scale, just in general, you know, the absolute mentality he has. But Jack Doohan is also a great driver. We just haven't seen that. He went into the season starter under pressure of knowing that he was about to leave. Like, how shit is that? You start your home race and you've got your manager, Flavio, for all people, saying, yeah, you're probably not going to end up racing. Like, what a shit mental start. I mean, they were just testing his mental fatigue then and there. And like we said before, Pat and I were hanging out with Jack a couple of days before the race and we were almost giving like the, hey, this isn't giving F1 driver energy, I guess, because we just felt like he was so calm and collected, which is also a good thing, right? But it was almost like, wait, we need you kind of be serious about this at the same time. So maybe that's why he's not an F1 driver, but it's still fucking rude, you know, to say that. So essentially though, Flavio has come in and has ruled him out of contention for a 2026 seat. They're going to be choosing between Paul Aaron, the reserve driver, and Franco Colapinto. So Franco Colapinto has also not had the best time this year either. I mean, he was who replaced Jack, and then there was the rumours that they were going to flip again and Jack was going to come back and Franco was going to go out. But now they're throwing in Paul Aaron into the mix. Is this really what Alpine need, just to keep swooping new people in and out of the rug? Franco has crashed several times this year, and he's also failed to score any points. He's under pressure to keep his seat. I think that Alpine just need to stick with the driver and train them up and make them a driver, because all these guys can also drive, but they need that extra push from someone else. You know, it's a special breed if you're a Max Verstappen or an Oscar Piastri or Lewis Hamilton or whatever. They're a particular breed. Other people need big teams around them. But the real reason that I want to discuss today is McLaren in Singapore, because I'm so pissed off. I'm so pissed off. And look, I get it. I'm an Australian. I'm supporting an Australian. But McLaren have done this themselves. McLaren have set a precedent of these papaya rules. And Oscar Piastri has come out and said, look, I think everyone is like talking about the papaya rules too much. Essentially, it was just don't crash into each other. But then what did Lando go and do today or last night? The other day, whenever you're listening to this, he went and crashed into Oscar. Yes, it was deemed fair. It was a legal move. There was nothing wrong with it. But I agree, it was not fair. In any other instance, if that had happened in any other race and it was reverse, they would have given the position back. And for that to happen, I can understand why Oscar is frustrated. I mean, we watch him turn off his radio. Silence is damning. Silence is saying everything. And then McLaren go and put... Sorry, siren's going off. I think am I screaming? Is someone like... And then McLaren go and put up this photo of them all celebrating on the podium. They're like, oh my God, we won World Championship. Okay, look, I should probably be celebrating that McLaren won the team championship. Great, cool. We knew that was coming. I'm sorry, but are you really team players when you're doing this and putting this up? This photo of everyone, and Oscar is not in the photo. You should be celebrating your driver that is leading the championship. But you're not. You're just celebrating as a team. And I get it, but are you being team players when you're doing stuff like this? That is not team players. This is not sportsmanship like. McLaren need to choose a driver, because this happened in 2007? Can't even think. Between Alonso and Hamilton. They couldn't choose. They had a fuck ton of issues going on in the background, and they kept being like, one team, one dream. They lost the Drivers' Championship. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, a bunch of people have sent in voice notes, and I'm going to listen to them and also see what they said, because I was obviously rage baiting online. Now, this one has just come through. It is from a lovely listener called Freya, and she says, oh my God, what the fuck? McLaren, papaya rules very clear. Don't hit your teammate. No swap. Then they celebrate constructors without Oscar. Yep. And then she... Okay, Freya said she's so mad she unfollowed Lando, and Prob's now going to unfollow McLaren too, because it's what a joke and they are losers and Oscar deserves better. Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with that. Let's hear what you actually have to say though.
So McLaren has papaya rules. Don't hit your teammate. Lando hits teammate. McLaren, no, nothing to do here, nothing to see here. Oscar goes back to fourth. And nothing is done about it. No swap over. And then Oscar has a slow pit stop. No swap over. And then McLaren wins the championship, and they celebrate without Oscar on the podium, who is their championship leader. McLaren, what the actual... Like they are a joke, and everyone can see it, their favouritism. I think Oscar's just got to take the gloves off and do a bit of hip and shouldering.
Yep, couldn't agree more. This is from Paul. Let's see what you've got to say.
Hi Elle, it's Paola from the Pit Talks. Yeah, I'm so angry as well. Yesterday, I'm from Melbourne as well, and I was like, I don't even care. No one cares that they have won the championship. Like, really, it's like Oscar's face was like, whatever, mate, you know? So yeah, I'm so angry. It's not fair. It doesn't make sense.
So as you can tell, they're just two voice notes that I got about McLaren. Damn. I don't know where they're going to go from this. I think that McLaren really need to pick and prioritise the drive now. Otherwise, they're going to destroy their team culture. They're going to also destroy their fan culture. They have a real PR issue on the top of their hands now. I think, though, regardless, it's kind of like ticket price increases. There's always going to be demand there, so people will still be involved and still participate in the drama. But it's just... it's icky, it feels gross, and then being silent, and then Lando Norris has also made comments this weekend being like, if you're not happy with that move, don't be in Formula One. That's not on. Oscar is trying to be at least a professional and just not talk about it and just be like, oh, I'm happy for the team. Yes, he might be nonchalant and like tone deaf in his voice, and we can see it in his eyes. He was hurting and he's pissed off. I mean, when he took off the mic, when Zach Brown's like, congratulations, and he's like, fuck this, and just like took it off. He cut that silence. As I said before, silence is damning. So look, time will tell. I think also one thing that we do have to celebrate in Singapore is the actual race itself, even though it was a bit boring. But I think Ash has something to say. So let's have a listen to her voice note. I got so many voice notes. This is great. I haven't listened to half of them, so I'm actually being picky. Let's see what she has to say.
Hey guys, once again, it's Ash from Girls in the Fast Lane coming in with her comments and her unnecessary instigating of McLaren fights. First of all, I want to say that George Russell was the most underrated winner ever. We forget that last year on Drive to Survive, he had a panic attack after the race and it was really raw and emotional, and he's come back and won this race. So like 10 out of 10, redemption arc is redemption arcing. I'm so happy for him. I think he deserved it, and I think it shows how far he's come, and I hope that's shown in a Drive to Survive, but I really don't think it's going to be.
Okay, credit where credit's due. George, you had a great race. You got pole position, you deserve that. I know I'm not the biggest George fan just because I don't think he is like fully himself all the time, and he's very performative, but he raced well. He did well. He kept Max off. Max is a real threat at the moment also, and Max drove exceptionally well, but George, yeah, well done. Claps to you. Speaking of that, and the panic attack that was shown last year in Drive to Survive, and actually, did I watch that? I'd seen clips of it online, but it's because the race is so hot. It's so damning. Every single person was talking about how hot this race is. It's so draining on the body. And I need to discuss that. Is it smart that they're adding a sprint into Singapore? To put that pressure on these athletes' bodies and minds, just the mentality around knowing that you're going to have to go through that. Also your team. I was watching everyone prior on the grid, which, well, prior on the grid, did anyone like catch Martin Brundle with Lewis I can't say his last name. I wish Pat was here to pronounce it, but that was a funny moment. If you know, you know. But the tyre, all the teams are holding the tyres, they're fucking boiling as well. And from friends that were in Singapore, they said it was stinking hot. So to add in a sprint, I don't think it's fair. I think that the FIA is going to cause some serious health issues and sporting hazards, and I don't think it's going to create safe driving. So that's going to be interesting how that one plays out. I mean, if anything, it might be more interesting how McLaren plays out, because McLaren, what the... Hang on. Liv just sent me something just whilst I've been talking.
Elle, let's calm down. Deep breaths in, hold out. It's okay. It'll be fine. We just need to calm down a bit.
How did she know? How did she know that that's how I felt? So we know how I feel about this weekend. It has not been fun. It was overall not a great race. All the action happened off the track or really in that first lap, or it was in practice and qualifying. As for the race, stock standard type of race, right? But yeah, congratulations to George. So I'm just going to jump into my red flag and green flag of the week, because I know that Pat would want me to do it. So my red flag, well, it's kind of funny, but So I guess that makes it a green flag. I'm not really sure, but my head got stuck in a helmet. Leica, who is an artist that we work with at Principal, she held this amazing paint and sip event on the weekend, which if you're in Melbourne or anywhere else, I think she's going to be doing them again. So it's a great way for like F1 fans just to connect and also get a little bit artistic. It was a really beautiful event. Anyway, she painted this amazing helmet, like actual helmet. She got a racing helmet and she spray painted it pink and she wrote Principal on it and she did all these beautiful designs. And I thought it'd be really funny to put it on. It was funny for a second and then I realized I couldn't get it off. And Hayley was like literally having to lift me up from my head. And there's a clip online, you can go find it, of me, like my neck is still sore right in here because she's pulling me up from my head trying to get it off, and then she was like shaking my head and I was like nearly in tears. I also had the visor down at one point, so like there was like no oxygen coming in because everything was painted and sealed up. So yeah, that was real fun and scary for like a hot second, and 5 minutes of my life flashed by and then we got it off. So I don't know what would happen if I got that stuck. As for my green flag, which is probably that, is that we're heading to Bathurst 1000 this week. I'm so excited. This has been on my bucket list forever to go to the Bathurst 1000. If you don't know what that is, in Australia we have Supercar Championship, and there is a very famous race in New South Wales. It's about 3 hours outside of Sydney. It's a big mountain. They race for 1,000 kilometres and they go around and around a mountain. It's quite a historical, cultural Australian moment. It's never been one traditionally for females to attend. Well, obviously they've attended, but it's been like that motorsport culture. So it's going to be a real interesting moment to go, but I'm so excited. Pat and I will be there. We might have a little giveaway for some tickets on our social pages, so make sure you check out that. And yes, thank you so much for tuning in. And also, if you're going to Grilled, if you're hungry, if you're in Melbourne or Australia, go get the Oscar Piastri burger because it was fucking delicious. And look, like I said, it's not sponsored, but it's just in solidarity of the great Australian man himself. And I feel for you. All right, I love you and leave you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share this podcast if you've enjoyed it. And I don't know, whatever else you want to do, because quite frankly, I'm tired and I can't keep waking up on Mondays feeling angry and this frustrated that McLaren are doing this so obviously and blatantly. And I know there's people out there that don't think that's what it is. A lot of people think it was fair for Lando. Yeah, it was fair. But McLaren have set the precedent. McLaren did this. Yes, it was fair. It was all rules and stuff like that. But they have set this ideation that when something goes wrong, it needs to be fixed. Team player. All right, bye.